Hi guys, Bob Mead, CEO and founder of iQagent, and today I would like to do the iQagent Enterprise product demo. I will be talking about the product as well as showing you the product live on the iOS platform, both the standard and with ARKit, so that's iPad Pro. Also on the Microsoft HoloLens and the RealWear HMT-1. So let's get started. iQagent's mission is to make resources that are associated with real-world points of interest accessible on your mobile and wearable devices. What this means is you can take your mobile device, point it at a piece of equipment, and it will display all the relevant information about that equipment. So live data out of your process, documents, schematics, forms, vendor information, whatever you have. So here's the problem. When you go out to a piece of equipment or an area on the plant floor, all the information about that equipment that you need to find out what's going on is usually somewhere else. So if you need live data, it's sitting in the PLC or in your SCADA. You got to go find an HMI panel, call the control room, or maybe plug into the PLC in some cases. If you want to know the maintenance history, then you got to log into a different application, preventive maintenance system, maybe back in the maintenance office. If you want production reports, then maybe you're going to Crystal or SQL reporting. If you want the schematics, troubleshooting charts, manuals, then maybe they're on SharePoint or some other document management system. If you need to contact the vendor, then that's a different application or look them up on the web. So all this information is somewhere else, and it's pretty inefficient, but it's what we've had for 30 years. But now we all have cell phones, tablets, wearables. So if we can identify the equipment, we can use standard interfaces to go get information out of all these systems and then just display it on a mobile device. And that's what iQagent does. We use QR codes to find out where we're at or what piece of equipment we're standing in front of. It uses standard interfaces to go get information from all these plant systems and just display it as a point of interest or POI on the client device that you have. So you waste no time in walking away from a problem to go get information. You can immediately start troubleshooting the problem. So iQagent has native clients on phones, tablets, and wearables that you're already using. We have an Android phone client. We have 4 applications on the iPad, standard iQagent, one with ARKit. We also have iQagent Lite, which is an offline version of iQagent, as well as the new iQagent Forms app that I'll be talking about a little bit later. iQagent also works on the Microsoft HoloLens. That's a mixed reality headset. We're also on the RealWear HMT-1, that's head-mounted tablet. It is a wearable device. You can get it in a Class 1 Div 2 IP66 rated wearable. It's very comfortable, and it's all voice controlled, so I'll be showing that a little bit later. We're also available on the iPhone as well as the Windows 10 tablets. So all of these clients have an internal mode, and you can see it work on your device in a few seconds. Just download it and then go to iQagent.com, request a free demo POI kit, which is basically a sheet of QR codes. Scan it with your device and you'll see points of interest just pop up. There'll be simulated data, documents, forms, and things like that, so you can kind of get a feel for what iQagent is. Now, I'm going to show you, using a live system, what iQagent looks like on different platforms. We're going to look at the iPad, both the original iQagent version as well as the ARKit version that we have, also on the Microsoft HoloLens and the RealWear HMT-1. The first client I'm going to show you is on the iPad Pro, and I'm just going to launch it. It's the big orange icon down in the taskbar. And iQagent opens, the camera is on. We have a toolbar at the bottom with various functions. Also around my desk, I've got a couple Raspberry Pis. I've got a Siemens IoT module I'm playing around with. Also the RealWear HMT-1, that's a head-mounted tablet. I'll be showing iQagent on that a little later, as well as the Microsoft HoloLens mixed reality set. I've also got an image, so I've got a QR code there. iQagent will find the QR code, scan it, and it pulls up the associated point of interest, or POI. What we're seeing here is the POI data view. This represents live data coming right out of your process. We get this over open protocols such as OPC-DA, which is the older version of OPC. Works on DCOM. We also use OPC-UA, which is a newer version, which is easier to network and has security built in. We much prefer that. We can also get data over ODBC, Open Database Connectivity. So if you have data in production databases like SQL Server, Oracle, things like that, we can grab live data out of that and show it right when you scan the point of interest. We also have a charting feature. So on the point of interest, you can define a chart. So we can just tap the points that we want to add to the chart. So we're showing a trend chart of these values. And if I want to see the resource links, the schematics and things like that on this point of interest, then I just tap the I button down in the lower right. It flips over and we've got various things here associated with this point of interest. The first thing is a procedure This was done with our Forms and Procedures creator, and we can create these great data entry forms and work procedures directly in iQagent and associate them with points of interest. We also have an offline version called iQagent Forms where you can download these forms and fill them out. We can choose to open this form either normally in a browser or in iQagent Forms. So for now, I'll do it open normally. And it's going to launch the browser. That is a setting on the point of interest. And this just shows a paper roll change procedure. Someone could go through, fill out this procedure. We have the ability to do required fields to make sure that you're entering correct values and the correct range of values here. And then you can follow the procedure. Another feature of our Forms app is workflow. So based on the answers that they give in previous things, we can decide what to show. On the is laser diameter and specification, if we choose no, then it adds another control and prompts us to take a picture, and we can annotate directly on the form. We can move components around if we want, and then just click done and it adds it directly. And of course we can sign with our finger and just submit that. This data goes directly into a SQL Server database, so it's very easy to integrate directly with your existing reporting systems. And then I can just tap back to iQagent. We can also view relevant manuals that may be associated with this piece of equipment. So here we've got a laser manual. We have the ability to open this in other applications. So if you have CAD drawings or JT2Go drawings, these will launch the appropriate application if you want, so you can view them in their native environment and then come back to iQagent. Here's some schematics. And the mode at which these documents open is just based on settings you do on the point of interest. So you can define that it is open in reader mode or child mode or out into a browser or another application. We can also associate videos. So here would be an instructional video on maybe how to check a valve that's associated with this equipment. So that's an example of how we can associate data and resources directly with a piece of equipment. The iOS version has a couple of other great features. So let's say we're an operator out on the line. Maybe we're not a technical person. We could have a POI showing, and we have the ability to do a full HD recording or take a snapshot. So I'm just going to turn on annotate mode. I can drop some text in here. And then I could just take a quick snapshot. And then in a couple of moments, I have this great annotated email that I could send to someone and ask them a question. Or this could be a full HD movie where they get the process sounds, my voice, the changing data, the drawings on the screen, and everything. So this is a great communication tool to keep production up and running without having to wait on somebody to come out to the line. We don't have to scan a QR code to pull up data. As you create points of interest in our config tool, the menu is automatically generated. So if we're sitting in a production meeting and someone needs to discuss, say, the way a certain line or machine is running, you can pull up the point of interest directly using a menu. So maybe having a conversation out in the hall, you may be at home with a VPN or the network, you can still pull up this information. So what we're doing is making this process information available to everyone exactly when they need it, whether it's standing in front of the equipment during a meeting or during a technical discussion or what have you. So that's the traditional version of iQagent. Now I'm going to show you the iQagent AR, which is the ARKit version of the same app. So I'll launch iQagent AR, and the camera opens, and in this case, the QR code is going to tell us what data is relevant to the scene and also provide an anchor point for the AR scene that we're going to create. So I'll just place the cursor on the QR code, scan it, and then it'll drop an anchor on the QR code. And then I can use my plus button. First, I'll add the point of interest just above the image there. And I'll grab it, kind of move it where I want. This point of interest is just sitting in space. I'll get kind of a side view of it here. And it's anchored to where the QR code is. So there's my live process data. I can put my cursor on the I button, flip it over, and have access to my documents. Of course, I could also watch some movies, fill out a form, do all the other stuff that I could do in regular iQagent. With iQagent AR, we can also place independent data points around the equipment, maybe where it makes sense. So I will open the blue menu. It gives me a list of all the data points and info links. So maybe over here, I would add the dancer position. And then maybe over in this area, add the filters and roll diameter. And we can grab these and move these anywhere we want. We can also change the size of objects. And we can also place resource links such as documents or movies in the scene that we're creating. And then I'll just hit save. And again, I'll move up to the side so you can see kind of what we've created here. And we can also take a snapshot and use our drawing tools to create annotated pictures and email them to our technical colleagues. So iQagent AR is a way to create visualization around any area of your plant without the need for electronic display devices. This is going to become a lot more useful when we have Apple wearables to display this AR content. We expect that to come in the next year or so. Speaking of wearables, let's see what iQagent looks like on the RealWear HMT-1. This is a head-mounted device. It's like Google Glass, only it's got a lot more usable real estate. You can actually read and navigate documents using only your voice. So let's take a look at that. So this is what I see on the RealWear 1. I've got it on my head now. This is the main screen for the RealWear iQagent app. So if I want to look at the same point of interest, then I can just use my voice to do the function I want. So in this case, I would say scan POI. Now the QR code is kind of far away, so I can just zoom in on it to read it. Zoom level 3. And the point of interest pulls up. So on the RealWear, if you see it, you can say it. So to add some of these points to a trend chart, you just speak the name of the point. Dancer position. Laser diameter. So there's our trend chart. If I want to get to the documents, I just say flip view. The POI will flip over, and again, I can just say what I want. Keyent's laser manual. Go to page 5. Zoom level 3. Freeze document. So you can use your voice to quickly navigate documents and procedures, get the information you want. Navigate back. Main menu. I can also use my voice to just pull up any POI in the system that I want. Explore groups. Production machines. Wero machine 58. 58 unwind section. Main menu. So RealWear gives you iQagent only hands-free. So if you're climbing a scaffold or if you're trying to do a work procedure but you need both of your hands, then this is a really, really great device. I've sold quite a few of these in the last month or so. They're becoming very popular. There is also a Class 1 Div 2 model that is IP66, so it can take a direct wash down. If you haven't seen these, go to realwear.com, check it out. Now let's take a look at what iQagent looks like on the Microsoft HoloLens. If you haven't seen this, this is the Microsoft HoloLens. It is a mixed reality device. It's totally inclusive, doesn't have any type of tether. So this is the first version, came out in 2016. They have skipped the second generation and they're going straight to the third generation that's supposed to be out first quarter of 2019. But let's put this on and take a look at what iQagent looks like on Microsoft HoloLens. So the HoloLens responds both to hand gestures as well as voice commands. So I'll give the bloom command, and it will pull up the Windows Start menu. Looks a lot like Windows 10. I will place my cursor on the iQagent icon, and then I will just tap it with my finger. So iQagent launches. I could look at the QR code and scan it with a voice command, but we don't really have to do that. We can just begin creating our AR scene and place any information around this machine that we want, and it will persist because the HoloLens maps the room and knows where you're at between sessions. So I'll just call up the menu and place out a couple of things. New item. So my menu comes up. I can place a data point. I can place a point of interest or an info link, which would be maybe a schematic, a movie, or a document. So I'll use my voice this time. I'll put the cursor directly on the POI icon and just say select. And it will give me a menu, and I'll just go pick out the relevant point of interest. Select. Select. And then the point of interest pulls up. And we can do voice commands like make smaller. I can also choose adjust and move it around. I can also just have it display just as a point of interest icon. And this is just an object sitting in space, so I'll kind of get up and walk around it. And again, it's taking its position by mapping the walls and using the network and things like that. So I will tap it again to open the point of interest. And of course, there's my live data. I'll put my cursor on the I button and tap that. And then there's my documents, and I can just select these and open them. So this is an interface telling me to just gaze where I want the document to open. So I'll gaze over to the side. It will open the document, and then I can adjust it if I want. And I can also scroll or zoom. And then when I'm done, I'll just tap remove and return to iQagent space. I can also use similar commands to place individual data points. New item. Make smaller. So the HoloLens is also a hands-free device, and it allows you to create visualization using holograms. The next version that comes out, the Generation 3 hardware, we're really looking forward to seeing that. And we expect that to come out into this year, first of next year, and it's supposed to have a lot bigger form factor as well as a lower price tag. So take a look at that. So that was a look at iQagent on a few of our client devices. If you have one of these devices that are supported, you can download iQagent from the respective app store. We have free demo POI kits available at iQagent.com. You can sign up and get one of these, scan the QR codes on the demo kit, and see it work on your own device. Now let's take a look at architecture. iQagent works with the data that you already have existing in your plant. We use standard interfaces to get this data, so there's not a lot of re-engineering to get iQagent in the plant. You're going to install iQagent Server and configuration tool on a Windows Server 2012 or 2008, and it's on your own network. It does not require any access to the internet or to the cloud whatsoever. When one of the client devices scans a POI code or you make a menu selection, it makes an HTTPS request back to our server. The server then looks at the POI database, gets all the information that's relevant, including live data, links to your documents, movies, procedures, as well as information out of your databases, and just returns it directly to the client as what we call a JSON object, and the client just generates the POI on the fly. So there's no screen building or graphics work to do with this. We can also install the server component as well as the configuration database directly on a Raspberry Pi or other Linux or Unix-based system to make a low footprint installation of iQagent. It will support OPC UA as well as documents, and it's great for OEMs or proof of concept applications. Now let's take a look at the configuration tool and see how these points of interest are created. The iQagent configuration tool is a web-based application that you access from anywhere on your network. You can lock it down with security, either through IIS or Active Directory. We can create groups and groups within groups to build any kind of structure that you want. I'll show you the point of interest that we've been looking at so far in this demo. It's the 55 unwind section, so you may recognize some of the info viewpoints. There's our paper roll change procedure, which is our form, the schematics, the key installer manual, the video, as well as our data from an OPC data source. And there's a QR code, we could just scan that. But I'm going to show you how we can just create very quickly our own point of interest. So under production machines, I'm going to add another group and just call these Wero Machine 56. And we'll create a point of interest here called Unwind Section. And I'll choose the trending chart type. And my default view mode, I will have a default to the data view and just click add. So there's our point of interest, there's our new QR code. And for the info view, we're going to add some documents. So we could add documents for a URL as long as we have some kind of link to them. So if you have documents on SharePoint or other document management systems, you can use a URL link. So for this, I'll use a URL, and out on the web, I've got a link on the Siemens website to the 1500 technical data PDF. So I'm just going to copy that link, and I can just paste it in here. And we will open that in the reader mode and just click add info. So I can check that just by clicking this link here, make sure it works. Yep, works fine. If I don't have document management, then I can upload files directly to the configuration tool website. It is hosted by local IIS on your machine. So here, let's just say I have a parts list. I can go choose a file. There's my parts list. And I can assign a category if I want, say under maintenance, and we'll also open this up on reader mode. I could add a movie, so I'll just do a file, and you have access to a list of existing files that you have, so I could choose this test movie here, and I'll just leave that in the child window. We can also add a form. So we have a form creator. You can create really powerful forms, do some great stuff with them. So here we'll take a look at this AWC pre-job work scope by our friends at AWC. So you can see we've got required fields and things like that. We've got all the different types of form elements. We can also pre-populate any of these fields here. Since we're on a certain point of interest, we would be able to, say, put in the serial number, things like that. So I'll open this in the default browser. I do need to give it a name here, and I'll just click add. So I could obviously keep doing this. You can put as many links to documents, schematics, forms, whatever you want on this. And then on the data view, we can choose OPC DA, OPC UA, or ODBC. So I'll show you, we'll do OPC UA. Here we've got an endpoint already selected, or already created rather, for our data point. So I will just click this, it'll go out, query that server, give us a list. And I think we're doing machine 56 unwind section. So these are the points that we have available for this particular machine. So I'm just going to go grab these guys. Click add. So they just pop in. Nothing stopping me from mixing data from OPC DA, UA, or whatever. So here we're going to go look at Kepware, and maybe I'll just go grab motor speed. And then finally, if I get something from ODBC, I can just go look at SQL. I don't have a lot that's interesting here, but I'll just grab one of these schemas, see what we got to look at. So we'll select the ID, and you can do anything you want here. I'm going to do an aggregate of the IDs. So since these are live data points, you want this to resolve to 1 point. So I hit test and then just say save data point. So I can mix and match data coming from all kind of different systems to put on a point of interest. We can also go into these and make them look exactly the way that we want. Give them units. This is dancer position, so it's probably in degrees. My low range on this is -5 to 5, and I'll just click update data. So we could go through and make all these kind of nice here. I'm not going to do all of them. You get kind of the idea. Now the beauty of this is I can scan this right now and you will see that POI on any client of iQagent you have on any system. So here's my iPad. I'll just launch iQagent, scan that right off the screen, set it over here, and there's all my information. So data coming out of the database, data from OPC UA, data from OPC DA. I can tap these, put them on my trend chart, flip it over. There's my maintenance category with my parts list. There's my online tech spec, my URL. Here's my little test video. All right. And the form that we created. Now, this is asking me if I want to open it in the Forms app. I'll talk a little bit about the Forms app in a moment, but for now, just open it normally. I ask it to go out to a browser, and here's our pre-job scope form that we have. I've got videos on the form editor. It's actually a very powerful application, so go look for that video. Okay, so you see how easy it is to create and deploy a point of interest very quickly. So that was a quick look at the iQagent configuration tool. I do have some more in-depth videos on it on the website at iQagent.com. And I mentioned the iQagent Forms app. It does work with the forms creator that comes with iQagent. Basically, it allows you to download those forms onto your mobile device, fill them out while you're offline, save them at any time, and then when you come back into range, it will upload the form submissions back to the iQagent server. It also gives you a better form factor for phones. It will step through the questions on the form one at a time so that it's better on a phone or say a RealWear. So we're going to be pushing that to the App Store very soon. So I'll be creating a video for that and posting it. So the return on investment for iQagent is pretty obvious. First of all, your plant workers can take their phone or their tablet, point it at a piece of equipment, get all the data that's relevant for that piece of equipment. They're not walking away to go find information or logging on to various systems. It also works with wearables like the HoloLens and the RealWear, and we're going to continue developing it towards the AR platforms that are coming. We can also help you reduce the cost of unplanned downtime just by being able to take snapshots or videos that you can annotate and send to people for a quick conference. We also give you more ROI out of the money you've spent in your system because you've got more people using the data out of your SCADA system, out of your PLC, more people using the software you already have. So it gives you ROI back on that. It's also risk-free, especially if you are someone who has a budget for augmented reality. If you're looking at some of these other platforms, you're going to spend money on an AR development kit, you're going to spend money on a developer, you're going to spend money on the hardware, and at the end of $30,000 or $40,000, you have a custom application that works on one machine that one person can use at a time. With iQagent, it already works with all the devices that you already have, plus the ones that you're already going to use. So it'll work on your iPhones, your iPads. If you want a HoloLens, it'll work on that. If you want to buy a RealWear, it'll work on that. So we're also future-proof and risk-free for those types of investments. So our closing points. One of the great things about iQagent is you can get it running in 10 minutes from starting an installation on Windows 2012 server to creating your first AR scenes, about 10 minutes. iQagent is an off-the-shelf software. You don't have to be a developer. You just have to know how to use a Windows computer, so it's risk-free. We do install on site. We're not on the cloud. We don't require that you have a connection to the cloud to use it. We're not a subscription-based model. And iQagent works with all the mobile devices you already have, like Android, iPhone, iPad, as well as new AR-capable devices like Microsoft HoloLens, RealWear HMT-1. You have full unlimited use of the Forms Designer that we have. The forms that you create will work in any browser, as well as through iQagent and with our new Forms app that allows you to use the forms offline. And large household name companies in chemical, pharmaceutical, food and beverage, automotive, and their vendors are already running iQagent worldwide in their plants. So contact me to get started. And that's all I have for today. Check us out at iQagent.com. We're on Twitter using the handle @iQagent. Also have a Facebook page, so feel free to reach out to me at the phone number below or send me an email. Thanks.